west of the Rockies. You're on the air. Hello.
Morning, Art.
Good morning, sir.
I'm very curious if you have heard of the Sisters of Phaedra.
The Sisters of... Is this some sort of, like, secret organization?
Yeah, it involves girls that make a pact, if they're ever raped, to frame the guy to make it look like a murder by committing suicide.
Whoa. Whoa, that's heavy.
I work part-time as a filmer and storer for adult movies.
Yes.
And I noticed this reoccurring tattoo on the inner thigh or the lower stomach.
The Daughters of Phaedra. Well, Phaedra was a very unlucky Greek goddess, you know. That's what Leah Hazelwood told us the other night, and one of his granddaughters is named Phaedra. There's something fascinating about the name Phaedra. It is a really unique name, and I wonder how our discussion of this now is going to affect the number of people. Sure, is there any way you can find out 9 months or a year from now, after playing this bumper music and talking about the name Phaedra, is there any way 9 months from now to look at birth records across the U.S. and find out how many Phaedras there suddenly are? Anybody know if that can be done? With computers, you ought to be able to do just about anything. You're on the air.
Hi, Art Bell.
Yes.
This is USA 37 million. How are you?
All right.
Okay. Incidentally, we don't use names anymore after the Y2K problem that you guys had back in 2BO. We went to a whole new system. Everyone is known by your country, U.S., of course, being mine, and your number that was issued to you after the Y2K computer shut down.
So that's when we get our number.
Uh-huh. And that happened started happening because you guys... Now, I'm with you right now in 2BO, or, excuse me, you guys call it 1998 because you don't know that it's BO, which stands for before O.
Before...
O.
O.
Mm-hmm. Which was the coming of another son of God, in fact. There were 2,000 years between Adam and Abraham, 2,000 years between Abraham and Christ, and 2,000 years between Christ and O.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. O came here in December of 2000, and he shocked the doctors because the very first day he was crawling. 2 days later he was walking, and within a week he was talking.
Wow.
At 6 months he started to do all the miracles and perform miracles, and he set a new instructional booklet, which is similar to your Bible. BIBLE stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And you have to adhere to all of those things that are taught there in order to go on to the next phase of life.
Bible stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what we later ended up learning. That's where that came from. So you have your number, and after you learn to follow and adhere to all the instructions, then you can go on to the next phase of life, which is in another Milky Way, another galaxy. Others will stay here until they learn that.
Can you tell us or give us any sense of how many are able to leave and how many are left behind percentage-wise?
Very small percentages leave at first. It's about... it's done in groups of about 144,000.
Boy, you sure do have down some specifics.
Mm-hmm. And I came back, in fact, I came back 4 days from now, and I heard that you were doing this show tonight. So I just came back here tonight, 4 days. I was actually on Monday, and I just came back here for this because you were doing this Thursday morning thing here.
You would have known, of course.
Yes. In fact, I can even give you something that you can find out before your next program.
All right.
Excuse me, well, not your next program, because your next program is Thursday night, Friday morning.
Right.
The Seahawks will beat the Cowboys on the opening preseason game Friday.
Really?
Uh-huh. And that'll be a big surprise to everyone.
Well, I don't know. The Cowboys were kind of faltering, so I don't know if it would be that big of a surprise.
Well, there are 4 winners in the Powerball, and one of them is going to give nearly 90% of his portion of it to charity.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Well, just look for those things, and next time you do this, I may come back.
I certainly hope so.
Okay.
We will know you by...
USA 37 million.
I was going to say your number.
Okay.
Take care. We will know you by your number. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Bible. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, you're on the air. Radio off, voice up.
Oh, yeah, is this Art Bell?
That would be me.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Where are you?
I'm calling from Garden Grove, California.
Okay.
My name's Al. And I had an experience with this flying rods about 25 years ago. Me and some friends were young back then. We were in...
25 years ago?
About 25 years ago.
Yeah, we were all young back then.
Yeah,
compared to now.
Yeah, we were doing some pot.
Uh-huh.
And back in Mexicali.
So you were stoned in Mexicali, right?
Yeah, stoned in
Right.
Mexicali.
So that's the setup for this.
Oh.
All right, already your credibility is running up there at a high 10, but go ahead.
Okay. And we were kind of stoned, and we saw everything like in slow motion, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like a friend of mine had a beer and he dropped it.
So wait a minute now. Let's be sure we've got the setup straight. Now, you're not just stoned, but you're drinking beer too, right?
Well, not me, but
he was drinking beer.
Some other guys.
So you were just smoking the pot. He was smoking pot and drinking beer.
Yeah.
All right. And so what did he do?
So he dropped his beer, and I saw the beads of the beer come out really slow, you know. I saw a can.
In slow motion,
Slow motion,
yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
After about 20 minutes, I saw this, what I thought were worms that were flying just around us.
Worms.
Yeah. And...
So you think that you were seeing rods?
Yes, that's what I...
All right, well, maybe you were seeing rods, but you've got to know that your little preamble here to how you saw them is going to cause a lot of people to say...
I was hallucinating, right, yeah. I was stoned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing.
No flying elephants, just rods.
No,
just rods.
My words. The funny thing is that I thought I was, hallucinating, and then my friend,
yes,
who was also smoking pot,
yes,
got up and he said, so,
the worms.
No, he said the snakes. There's snakes.
The snakes. There's flying snakes.
Around us, and I thought about that. I said, well, maybe those were the rods. After now seeing the pictures there.
Now you have seen the photographs.
Yes, sir.
Good for you. Good for you. So at the moment you saw them, you thought, my God, those are the rods I saw? Those are the snakes he saw?
Yeah. I know, it's a lot of people would not believe it because, we were stoned.
Now, was there any relationship to how many hits of weed you had and how many rods you saw?
No, not really.
No.
No.
So once sufficiently stoned, you're saying that the door is open and it's Rodville?
Well...
Has that happened since?
No, of course not.
So it was a one-time thing?
Yeah, it was a one-time thing. I've never seen.
You mean the pot smoking or the seeing of the rods?
The rods. God, I haven't smoked pot in about 20 years ago.
20 years.
22 years ago.
22. Well, in the 3 years that you still smoked, you never saw him again?
Nah.
No. All right. Well, I certainly appreciate the testimonial, and I'm sure that Jose will add that right on to his list of high proof regarding rods. You never know. You wouldn't take that one into a congressional hearing, but it was kind of interesting on balance. It really was kind of interesting. On my Let's Make a Deal line, you're on the air.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah, let's make a deal. That's right. I was asking for people, holding a line open for people who had made a deal with the devil.
Yes, sir.
That's you.
Yes, sir.
You made a deal with the devil.
I did.
When did you do this?
It was approximately 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were how old?
I was 24. Wait, 20. I guess it was more than 10 years. I was about 26 years old. 26
years old. And what was your condition that you were ready to make a deal?
Well, it's really stupid. I was sort of madly in love with a girl, and I was going to be. And you know, when the relationship's bad, you tend to become desperate. And I needed not to be transferred across the country, and I needed something to happen. And I was sort of just, I didn't know what to do, and so I was just sort of kind of like asking out loud.
Were you in the military or something? You say transferred across country. What were you working for a company?
I was working for a company, yes, sir.
All right.
And so I just kind of asked out loud for somebody to help me with this situation.
Yes.
Nobody in general. I don't know why I was talking like that, but a voice came to me and said that it could help me.
Huh.
I don't normally hear voices in my head, and so I said, who is this? I thought I was crazy, and the voice told me that it was Satan.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that should have been an alert right there.
Well, yeah.
Satan. But nevertheless, curious, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it was curiosity, and
somebody says, something says, I'm Satan. And, I mean, it's hard to imagine what you responded to that. I mean, what did you respond? I'm Satan. And you said?
I said, well, I don't want anything to do with you.
Oh.
And he says, but I can help you. I said, well, yeah, but, what do you want?
Huh. That's the right question.
He says, nothing.
I don't know if that's the right answer.
Well, that's what he lied to me.
So nothing.
Nothing. And I said, nothing? He says, yeah, I'll help you for free.
Sounds like some emails I've had, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so I denied it first, and the voice kind of persisted, and I denied again, and then I said, well, fine, if it's free, it's free. Go ahead, do what you're going to do. And that was the deal.
And the deal was, I mean, the help was you will not be transferred. You get a chance to stay with your girl?
Yeah, I'd lose the job.
Oh.
Right, and it wasn't quite the deal I wanted. I didn't actually make a formal deal. It was just for general help.
Uh-huh.
And so I lost the job.
Okay, since you've made this deal with Lucifer, how's it going?
Well,
wait, hold that till we get back. I do want to find out how it's gone. Remember, we've got a line open for those who have made a deal. So, how did your deal with the devil go? I mean, how's it gone since?
Well, things went pretty good for a while. I started getting different. It went kind of slow at first, but as time went on, I started getting introduced to people, and I was eventually introduced to a witch who became my master and trained me, and I became quite accomplished and different advents of the occult.
Has this become a successful life for you?
No, because I eventually became possessed by demons and lost control of myself.
Oh. Well, when you make a deal.
Well, no. Luckily, I listened to your show, and I heard Father Malachi Martin speaking.
Yes.
And as he spoke, I listened to his words, and I realized that he was right, that I had made a deal with the devil the way he had said, and that was when I decided that I would do something. And after listening to him for 3 years, I looked for somebody to perform an exorcism, and I eventually found someone in the Eastern Orthodox Church, and they were able to free me from his grasp.
They took the devil out of you.
Many devils.
Many devils.
By
then you were like an old computer that didn't even know viruses existed. And there were devils all over you.
That's a good way of putting it.
Uh-huh. And so your whole operating system got rebooted. I see. See, I don't know if that's how it goes, though. I'm not sure that once you make a deal with the devil or Lucifer, that there's really any reboot available. Okay, Rod, from where are you calling?
Sparks, Nevada.
Oh, right here in Nevada.
Yep.
Fellow Nevadan. All right. Sure. Well, then I'm sure what you say will be as solid as silver.
I believe so.
All right. What happened to you, Rod?
Well, this particular time, I was 19. I'm a long-time abductee. I was water skiing. I lived up in Oregon, and I was water skiing, had a real bad accident, hit the water, got water into my sinuses, blowing my nose real heavily. All of a sudden, this little silicone thing comes out of my sinuses. Flawless, perfectly cut, about the size of a pencil in diameter, probably about 3/4 of an inch long.
And you noticed this along with everything else that, well, came out?
Yes, yeah. It scared me to death because this...
Yeah, oh, that wouldn't be... listen, anytime you sneeze up plastic, it's got to be... Or whatever in the hell it was.
Exactly. This shouldn't have been there, so I was quite startled. So I put it on my dash. I was in my car. And all of a sudden, just a sudden impulse came over me to grab it and throw it. And as soon as it left my hand, I'm thinking, what and why did I do that? So I didn't think anything of it. And then years later, I recall an incident when they came back and reinserted it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's quite a story. I mean, the average, first of all, you'll have to excuse me for asking, but it's not usual to examine your sneezins.
No.
So what made you look at that?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, it just, was there. I mean, because I was just surprised at how much stuff was coming out of my sinuses. A little bit of blood and, just a lot of apparently buildup. But
well, that's why a lot of people look at sneezings and coffins, Oh, could there be blood there? No, yeah. Instead you've got this godforsaken whatever it is. So you throw this thing and you don't even know why you threw it.
No. It was just instant. I mean, I had no control because I wanted to save it for...
Well, sure. Research, whatever.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Absolutely.
Because I was completely unaware of my situation at this time. I've only known for probably about, I don't know. I
mean, it's weird if they made you throw it, because by then you would assume, if that was the center of their influence, that they had just lost it.
I have no clue.
Yeah, well, sure. And then you say they put it back.
Yes, yeah. Because my brothers and my father, mother were all abductees also. But at any rate, this particular time when they came back, like I said, I lived up in Oregon, lived near some holly fields. My middle brother and I shared one room, and the youngest brother was off into another room. Well, my brother and I were sitting facing the windows, and all of a sudden I see something flash across the window, and that's the last of that evening that I remembered. But then consciously I remembered quite a few years later.
So then this thing is still within you now?
Yes, it is, yeah.
You're a long-time abductee. Your families are abductees. That's so typical of the whole abductee thing. Is there anything you can clue us in on in terms of the motivation for what they do, what their goals are, anything at all?
Well, I think it's just a lot of research. They've taken a lot of semen. They've actually showed me children that they had.
So you think you've spawned?
No, they pointed one out that was mine. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Pretty wild is putting it mildly. All right, listen, man. Thank you for the call. I very much appreciate it, and I don't know. Don't catch colds. Or maybe it's better if you do. I don't know. What would you do if you sneezed up a hunk of whatever? Brother. Well, I guess I'm not surprised. We get story after story after story of contact. These people that I've talked to so far, these first two sound straight on to me. I wonder how many of you begin to believe that we are being visited and we're being... Well, he seemed to think the whole thing was sort of medical. We're being studied right now, and that seems to be all we know. Go to Joseph in Indiana. You're on the air.
Hey, hello there, Art. Been a long time I've been listening to you. You probably gave me some of the happiest moments of my life while I was driving my truck.
Good. It certainly whiles away the miles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. I remember the night you glued your lips together. Oh, my goodness. About fell out the window.
Don't remind me.
I got a little story to tell you. I got a house there in Camotes, Philippines. It's outside of Cebu City.
Uh-huh.
About 40 miles out in the water. And I went there for I live in Indiana, but I had to go there for a business trip. And while I was there, the typhoon come rolling through. This was in October. So I stayed at my house. 4 or 5 days of nothing but rain. And I had brought with me 4 telescopes. And because with no street lights there, it's beautiful. No.
Well, it is, but there's an awful lot of humidity here. That's the other factor that somewhat limits the night sky. The humidity here is always in the 90s, very close to 100%.
Right. Well, you'll have to come down and check out the island there. It's a lot better. The humidity isn't as bad down there once you get away from the other side of the island there.
I see.
And but I was going to tell you about my... so I'm stuck there at the house in the rain and the typhoon. You know how that is. And about 1:30 in the morning, everything was quiet, so I jumped out of bed and I said, I'm going to look outside, see if I can see some stars. And lo and behold, there were 3 small UFOs and 1 large UFO out over the water.
Why would you have an expectation to have a good star viewing situation while it's raining and a typhoon is around?
Well, it got quiet. I'd been reading my book, and so this is like 1:30 in the morning, so I done reading the book, and I figure I'm going to look out there and see if the clouds had cleared up because it quit raining.
I see.
And it had cleared up, and but to my amazement, 3 of these small UFOs were playing tag out there over the water. It was just amazing. So I'm hollering for my wife to bring me my glasses so I can see better. And all she's worried about is getting me my pants because I'm standing on the front porch hollering about these UFOs.
Yes. Yes, well, I'd want my glasses first, too, provided I wasn't here in Manila. Now, I suppose on an island off Cebu, you can do that, but it wouldn't be advised here in Manila.
Right. So we got to watch them for about 20 minutes. The big orange one, though, once we were standing there watching them for about 5 minutes, the big orange one moved down and kind of hid itself through the trees. Hid behind the trees. Oh, so it actually virtually landed almost. Yes, I'd say maybe it was 50, 100 foot off the
And how long ago was all of this?
October this year.
You told me. That's right. So what did they eventually do? Just all take off, or was there some encounter beyond that?
Well, no other encounter. They played out there for about 20 minutes. The 3 little ones, they'd go to come into one, and then they'd split off, and they'd do their 90-degree angle turns and shooting around out there. And the big one, he just sat out there, didn't do anything but sit. And so I went through the rest of the house trying to get everybody else that they lived on the island there. I tried to get them to get up and see these UFOs. Nobody even get out of bed because they said it happens all the time. The fishermen see that all the time, so they weren't even interested in getting up and seeing it.
Isn't that something?
So while I'm trying to... Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. So eventually what happened?
Well, eventually they flew away.
They flew away. Okay, well, there you've got it. That's a report from here in the Philippines. Here in Manila, because, of course, it's a very large city. I think we're a city of 11 million, 15 million. I don't know, a lot of people here. The air is, as you would imagine, in a city for the most part, and there's a great deal of humidity, so rarely do you get to see but 1 or 2 stars and, of course, the moon. Now, when you get out of the city, you get into the mountainous areas here in the Philippines or down, for example, into the area off Cebu, as he mentioned, you might have very clear skies, save the humidity factor. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I hate to bother you, but I really am a time traveler. I lost my charge. I lost the person that I'm in charge of, who called your station, and I need him to come. Every time traveler has to have a person coming with him, obviously.
A control.
Well, no, it's just that the corporation won't let just someone go, just leave the time and go into a previous.
Kind of like the buddy system when you go swimming.
Well, it's not really the buddy system when you go swimming. I'm with a corporation who has developed time travel, and time travel right now is still not really a real popular thing. In about 120, 150 years, what we're going to find time travel is going to be for vacations. People want to go back and see the eras of their history buffs, or if they want to see dinosaurs or elephants. We don't have elephants anymore.
So what you're asking is you have lost your companion.
Right.
And I guess you can't exactly put a lost time traveler on a milk carton.
You got it.
I really don't know how I can help you, though, because...
Well, the way that you can help me is this. Let me explain something to you. In our time, first of all, we have everything is perfectly engineered with regard to genetics. We have occasionally some slip-ups where we have some illnesses that we are obligated to fix.
Yeah.
So we go back into time where these illnesses were prevalent, and we're able to talk to the genetic engineers that are, obviously they don't know that we're time travelers unless the person does what he did on your show. I mean, we can't make predictions. I mean, if I were to tell you what the stock market could do or what was going to do in the next 3 months, people could be jumping out of windows. Now, I'm not going to be. We can't discuss future things. Even what you just said. This is just between you and I. I'm not on the air, am I?
Of course you're on the air. When I answer the line and I say on the time traveler line, you're on the air, that means exactly what it says.
Let me explain something to you, sir. In our 2257, we don't have any illnesses. A person that's coming back into this era now, and where are we? 1989, 1998, whatever we are. I mean, I've been back about 17 times. This one person has been back about 4 times. We're trying to get some. He's got some problems genetic problems that have to be cleared up, and there's some types of medications that we don't have any longer in our time.
Well, we have some medications here that might work for you.
Not for me.
Oh, I see. Well, anyway, look, we've got to get to the point here.
Well, I was just trying to try to link up with this person because I lost him.
Well, so where do you want this person to meet?
The person should check back. He knows where he has to be. His GTX number is 1053, and just tell me he has to be back with his charge. I mean, these people that are calling you.
Yes.
They can't be. The time travel is so unique. The first time traveler was you might know the name, a real time traveler where we didn't have to use all kinds of fancy things, computerized things to get us back and forth, was a person by the name of, you might, Bill Lear. Does that name mean anything to you?
Bill Lear?
Uh-huh.
Of course, I know John, his son.
Well, Bill was
The Learjet?
The Learjet, correct.
The 8-track tape?
Well, I don't know what else, but he was able to do this without any help with any type of electronic.
We're going to have to ask John about that.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
All right, look, I've got to go, and we're out of time.
All right, well.
So I hope you connect with your friend.
Well, I hope he connects with me.
There you are. All right. Boy. This must have been a good night to open the time travel line. That's all I can say. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning to you.
Hey, I consider myself weird, but yes, true. My 5th birthday, when I was younger, it was a big disappointment to me, and I can still remember it. But what I remember was a lady visiting me. It was more of a spiritual lady that I met when I was about 5. And she's always contacted me when I'm alone or when I'm meditating. I've always called her like a mother, like a second mother to me. And what she's taught me, I mean, I know this for true, what she's taught me is how to control the wind.
The wind?
Yes, indeed.
Now, let me get this straight. This is a woman who comes to you psychically.
In fact.
Right.
When I was little, I had a better imagination, or I was in touch better, and I'd actually see her. But as I've grown up, I can hear her, and it's not that I'm trying to contact her, it's just instantly she's there at the least moment I'll expect it.
Okay. How do you control the wind?
Well, the way I figure it, it's more, I get myself into like a meditation state.
Right.
Where I just concentrate on what I'm doing, or either that or my feelings are enraged, and it just kind of flows through me. In fact, I remember it was my 21st birthday. I was living out in Nebraska.
Right.
And I was really, really upset I don't remember why, but I was really upset over it. And I created a twister probably about 5 miles south of me.
God, you mean a tornado?
A tornado, indeed. And I don't
must have been really ticked off.
Yeah, I was. I was really ticked off, in fact.
Well, can it go the other way? In other words, if it's blowing hard outside, and let's say it's annoying you, and you want it to stop.
No, not really. No, I can't do that. But when it's really still, or when it's a clear day out, I'm not talking I can control the wind all over the world. It's like, it seems to me like in a 15, 20-mile radius of me.
A localized thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a feeling that just comes through my hands and my head, and it just blows through me. And it's really awesome. Some neat things happen. And
that is cool. I mean, you ought really not create tornadoes. That's nasty.
Well, yeah, that's true enough. I went out to Nebraska to see one and never did, and I finally did, though. But
the city of Los Angeles could use you.
Hey, get on their payroll.
Well, when it's still in L.A., when you don't have a good offshore breeze or something, naturally you've got a lot of pollution.
Sure.
And anybody who could generate wind would be of truly great value.
True. Yeah, my name's Takota, by the way.
Dakota?
Takota with the T.
Takota.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you a story. I had an incredible caller. It was during some open line session weeks ago. I'm so ashamed to say, I have so much paperwork here. And this man told a story about being in the military and recovering a craft from the ocean floor. And it was an incredibly credible, fascinating, riveting story. And I put the man on hold and took his contact number, and I turned this place upside down looking for it. I lost the damn thing. I wanted to call the man back, and so if you're out there, please get in touch with me again and give me a phone number again. I am so sorry. It somehow got caught in the blizzard of paperwork around here, and no doubt you made it to the trash. I mean, I went outside and I looked in trash cans. I did everything I could, and that thing just flat disappeared. But I had his number. He had given me his name and number, and I was going to follow up and do a whole show with this guy. It was an unbelievable story about what he recovered at the bottom of the sea. And I go and lose the number. Unblinking believable. So if you're out there, Send me that number again, sir, and we'll get you on the air. Undersea stuff? Oh, yes, we've heard about it here. You're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Where are you calling from, please?
Hello.
Hello?
I'm calling from the U.S., that's all I can say.
All right.
A few months ago, I had one of my tech sergeants call in. He was guarding a faculty, if you will. He asked me to call in.
He was guarding a faculty?
Let's just say he was guarding something that you guys are looking for. And he convinced me about 2 weeks ago to call in. I'm his commander. I'm post commander of this faculty. And it took me a while to get on with you guys, but here I am.
You keep saying faculty. Do you mean facility?
If you will.
Okay. And what is it that your facility does?
Well, let's just say I'm looking at something right now that wasn't made in this world.
Well, all right. Then why don't we go ahead and why don't we go ahead and describe it, whatever it is, or is it beginning to take off as we speak? I hear some weird noise.
1979, order came down to terminate an unidentified flying object. We terminated it. All life was hunted down and terminating within 24 hours as per the order. And we recovered what was left of the craft. And my superiors, if you will, well, let's just say it's about 280 foot long, probably about 150 feet wide, and there were 17 occupants on board, and it was deemed fit for the human race that we exterminate with extreme prejudice. The life forms on board. We, with the technology that we had at the time, we froze what was left of the occupants on board.
You froze them?
We froze them. But I had one of my tech sergeants call in a few months ago.
Yes.
I believe he talked to a George Norrie. I believe that was his name.
That's the information I have, yes.
And they told him to go to a public library, try to get in contact. I kind of dissuaded him from that. I said, we don't need to do that. Like I said, this is something I think that the people need to know about, and it's come high time that we all realize that there's life out there elsewhere. A lot are good, but
and you are guarding it.
Well, I'm in command of this whole facility.
I see.
And about, I guess it was 19 months ago, we gave the president a new briefing on the project.
You did. President Bush.
We have a $17 million budget on this base.
Yes, would that be President Bush?
Yes, it would.
Uh-huh.
We gave him we told him that we were asking for an additional $24 million a year, and he told us he was cutting our budget by half.
Oh, not a good idea when you got a big secret like that.
Well, not just that. The reason we terminated these people was the total amount on board, and in order to terminate them, which we ended up doing, we ended up losing about a quarter of our people, which is, I'm not going to say, but it was a lot of people.
Well, so you terminated with extreme prejudice. In other words, how did you kill them?
I can't say.
Oh, yes, you can.
No.
How did you kill them? Big whack over the head or what?
Well, let's just say that how we killed them would offend a lot of people. I won't go no further than that. We ended up taking them out.
You reached down their throats and yanked out some vital alien part.
Sure, if you want to say so.
I'm not sure I'm buying all this. You understand that?
Oh, I understand.
I mean, that's mass, for one thing, that's genocide. Why did you kill them?
Well, let's just say the way that they took out our people so quickly and so efficiently.
Yes.
We used 2 tactical nukes to bring down their vessel.
2 tactical nukes. Now, don't you think that we would have noticed that? Oh, yeah. 2 tactical nukes used to bring it down. We would have noticed. Well,